All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this special post-workout edition of A Round for the Weekend. I am your humble host, Ryan McCarthy. As usual, we are powered by bellyupsports.com. Again, check out more podcasts, for more writing, for more live stream. We are on bellyupsports.com. What I'm going to do is bring in my guest. Sorry for the moving around here. As you can see from Bordy Howe, he says, "Hallowed be thy gains," because, again, I worked out this morning. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm ready to talk some sports. So let me go ahead and bring my guest in from the Cannons and Tomahawks podcast. First time on the show, we have Alex. Alex, how are we doing today, bud?
Good, Ryan. How are you, man?
I am doing awesome. My workout this morning, I tried to do some new techniques that I watched on from. Are you familiar with strongman competitions at all?
I am. Yes.
So you know who Robert Oberst is?
Of course I do.
All right. So I watched some videos from him last night about tips and techniques for powerlifting, for just weightlifting overall. I tried some of those new techniques this morning, and man, gotta give a shout out to him. What a difference! What difference?
Yeah, it definitely feels good once you start doing some of those new techniques and stuff, and then it's the first couple times you lift, and you just feel great afterwards.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good myself. I was feeling pretty good this morning. I walked out of the gym like, wow, I feel pretty strong. I feel good. I feel great.
All day.
Yeah. Hallowed be thy gains. So usually what I do this show on Friday night. Yesterday I had a PT session because I'm still recovering from an ankle situation I had last month. But things are improving. I'm actually back in the gym, which is a good thing. But I usually go with this show topic. What are you drinking? So Alex, are you drinking what are you drinking this morning?
I actually just finished a post workout drink that I had. Nothing too special.
Nothing too special?
Nope, had that and I got a glass of water next to me.
There you go. Well, I'm drinking I got my post-workout shake right here from the gym I go to, Vent Fitness in Clifton Park, New York. I've also got a bottle of Bolt 24 to get myself some electrolytes and make myself a little bit more hydrated as we go through this program.
Nice.
So we're going to start things off with, and it's something that's near and dear to our hearts because we're both hockey fans. Alex, I know you're a big Columbus Blue Jackets fan, and I'm pretty excited about this deal. Let's talk about the NHL ESPN deal. It came out released this week about the NHL and Walt Disney. Basically, the Mouse said, "Yeah, we're gonna re-sign we're gonna do a 7-year deal with the NHL. We're gonna broadcast on ABC, ESPN, Hulu Plus, ESPN Plus. 7-year deal. A lot of it had to do with the NBC Sports Network saying we're not gonna be in existence anymore." So, Alex, what's your feeling about this deal? How good is it for the NHL? How good is it for ESPN? Can they coexist again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be great. Looking at the average annual revenue that they had with NBC Sports, they're bringing in about 200 to 250 million a year, and getting this new deal with ESPN ABC, they're estimating that from their A package, they're going to get 420 million a year on top of an additional 200. So they're estimating they're going to get from 600 to 620 million dollars a year. That's wow. 3 times as much as they were getting with NBC Sports. Absolutely. I am 100% okay with it. And if we can get Gary Thorne to come back as an announcer, I'm all for it.
Come on. Come on. You got to bring Gary Thorne back.
You have to.
You got to bring Gary. You get the magical combination of Gary Thorne and Bill Clement in the booth. Come on for your A games.
All day. And then bring back the glowing puck. Why not? Let's make people mad again.
That was a Fox thing. That wasn't so much ESPN. But I actually would like to see another iteration with the glow puck now that we have better technology. But
oh yeah, that would be kind of cool.
So I mean, I'm looking at this deal and I'm thinking to myself, all right, because Slapshot Sweethearts talked about this on their live stream on Thursday, I want to say. They talked about that a little bit. And I think it's a good thing. And I'll tell you why. You have a lot more American kids playing hockey than ever before. You know, when they were playing, when ESPN was on, when NHL was on ESPN back in the day, you didn't see too many kids playing hockey. With the success of the World Juniors, We've been to a couple of gold medal games since they last were on the air in the Olympics, World Championships. We have success there, and also with girls playing hockey. There's a lot more kids playing hockey these days, and I think if they can latch on to some star power like they do with, say, the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball, because ESPN they market towards individual players like as stars. So I see you shaking your head there, so you're kind of agreeing.
yeah. ESPN. I mean, a lot of it. You look at the other sports; they definitely latch on. Obviously with basketball, we all know they latch on to LeBron James, and then you have the NFL. They latch on to their handful of guys. So you have Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Dak Prescott and stuff like that. And it would be nice to see that kind of attention in the NHL. Maybe not as direct towards one or two players, but get that overall recognition that we need to get. And then maybe they can bring in the NWHL at some point and get more recognition for them too. Yeah.
I remember the whole kerfuffle with Barstool Sports, which is unfortunate because I thought they could have made a good partnership there. They kind of lost out on that, but yeah, the NWHL coming into play. Canada and the United States have the big rivalry. It's not so much prevalent when you're playing on an individual team representing a city. But going back to the conversation about NHL stars, I mean, like I said, you have a lot of young American kids playing hockey, and you got a lot of stars that are American born now, like an Austin Matthews, Connor Hellebuck. Although they play in Canadian markets, they're still American stars that you can market around. Austin Matthews, Connor Hellebuck, Jack Hughes. Going to be a bit of a homer here, my New Jersey Devils, but Jack Hughes is an up and coming star in the NHL, hopefully, because he's had a better season this year. So, I mean, this could be, I think this could be beneficial for both sides. Now, you mentioned the money aspect. I mean, and it's a pretty big deal, especially now with the NHL now being back on ESPN. You got a lot of non-hockey guys talking about. Did you see that Stephen A. Smith
his top 5 things he knows about hockey?
5 things about hockey that he knows about hockey.
Absolutely hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to probably bring it up. So keep the conversation going.
I thought that was pretty funny. His top 5, because everybody always talks about Stephen A. Smith knowing absolutely nothing about hockey. And that's one of the first things he mentioned. And that was, we have the NHL coming back and I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do know a couple things. So he starts talking about that. But yeah, I think that was absolutely hilarious. And it was actually a really cool and funny thing to do for Stephen A. to be able to say, hey, I don't know anything about hockey, but let's have some fun with it. This is what I do know about hockey. And it's totally irrelevant facts that mean absolutely nothing.
Now, how many fans of teams do you think are sending their paraphernalia over to him saying, join us? Because I know on ESPN, Damian Woody, former New York Jet offensive lineman, he's an Islanders fan.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you knew about that.
No, I didn't. I didn't know about that.
So I got the tweet. Go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought. I apologize.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, I was just saying. I have a feeling there are going to be a lot of people trying to get him to go over, but honestly, I bet it would be a Seattle Kraken or Vegas Golden Knights thing.
Well, he did mention the Kraken in his video, but I'm going to bring it up. We're going to watch it together. I want to, and again, the comment section is open. So if you're watching on Periscope, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, throw a comment out there. We'll get you in the conversation. So I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen here. We'll watch it together like a hockey family, like the hockey family we are.
Ha! You know what time it is, y'all? The NHL is back, and look who's talking about hockey. The NHL is back on ESPN starting the 2021-22 season, and that means one thing and one thing only. We get to hear NHL Tonight music on a consistent basis. With that being said, you know what time it is. I'll give you Steven's A-list of the top 5 things I know about hockey. Now, this is a miracle, because I don't know a damn thing about hockey. I'm 1%. I don't know a damn thing about hockey, Let me be clear. But then my staff reminded me, excuse me, Stephen A., you do know a few things about hockey. So I'm giving you my top 5 list. Stephen's A list. Let's go to number 5 of the top 5 things I know about hockey. Number 5, give it to me. Release the Kraken. Why? For those of you who don't know, Seattle gets an expansion team next year. The Kraken is a mythological sea monster, a giant squid from the 1800s. Listen, you didn't think I know that. That's right. But damn it, it's the Kraken, which is a beautiful city, especially when the sun is shining. Now they're getting a hockey team. You rain so damn much, the least it can do is not a beyond expectation to expect that water to turn to ice when it gets a little bit cold. The Kraken is coming to Seattle, Washington. I like that. Let's go to number 4 on the list. Give it to me, please. Barry Melrose suit game. Why? Because when
he never mentioned the mullet, though.
No, he didn't.
It's bad.
That's disappointing.
On ESPN,
I know.
Seeing the great Barry Melrose with his suit game. Do you see the suits that this brother
Look at that
wears?
flow.
The ties, the swag, the shades, the strut, everything. It's just so smooth. Look at him, even the shoes, the socks. It's something special, y'all. A Pat Riley wannabe, no doubt. But damn it, he's Barry Melrose. We got to give him love. Let's go to number 3 on the list. Steve Levy, Mr. Overtime. Why? Because the man is always on the air when it comes to hockey. Steve Levy called the longest televised NHL Stanley Cup playoff game and has called 3 of the 4 longest televised Stanley Cup playoff games in history. That's who Steve Levy is. If it's a game that's going to last 3 hours, 4 hours, damn it, 5 hours, best believe Steve Levy is going to be the man calling that game. Because it seems like when he's calling the games, they don't want games to end. It's just that simple. Let's go to number 2 on the list. I couldn't wait for this one. Give it to me. Damian Woody. He's an Islanders fan. Why is he on this list? You know why? Because he admitted he's an Islanders fan, even though he's a champion in the National Football League. And you know something else Damian Woody's got going on when it comes to him? His moves, his dance game. You don't believe me? Check him out on TikTok. Look at the big boy right there. Jamming. Go ahead. Oh my Lord. I think he could have had a better wardrobe while doing this. Typical to fashion with Damian Woody. Doesn't want to wear a tie. Shirt's usually wrinkled. His suit game is a bit suspect. Could be working with Barry Melrose just a little bit, but I'm going to give him love because he's with the kids. And y'all know Stevie A love the kids. He sure does. Let's go to number 1 on the list. Give it to me right here. The puck is black. Why? Because I tried to tell y'all, excuse me, the only thing I know about hockey, truly know about hockey, is the puck is black. I do know that. And like Laszlo Holmes, a.k.a. Chance the Rapper, said on Saturday Night Live, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey. That's it. That's Stephen's A list, the top 5 things I know about hockey. Ain't bad, y'all. Ain't bad. For somebody who doesn't know hockey, don't want to know hockey, all because it's too damn cold at the rinks where hockey takes place in the National Hockey League. Only thing I got against the sport is the fact that it's too damn cold.
Oh, my gosh.
You can never be upset at Stephen A. He is, at least he's being a good sport about it, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. He's a team play. He's team player. He's team player with the ESPN. Come on,
all day,
every day. But no, I going back to our conversation. I think it is a good thing for both sides. You know, I've been wanting ESPN to go get the NHL back for such a long time.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they took so long. Took so dang long.
Yeah. It's been rough. I miss watching it. If I remember correctly, I think the last game, the NHL game that was shown on ESPN, was the Game 7 of the 2004 Stanley Cup Finals. I
think you might be right.
So I think I read that yesterday, but it's been 16, almost 17 years. That's crazy to think that it's been that long without having ESPN as our hockey network.
Yeah, and the default network before we had the NHL network, before we had the before NBC Sports versus OLN when it moved over there, was ESPN2. ESPN2 was NHL Network before NHL Network was even born.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah, the one thing I'm interested to see is how they're going to do this. So I don't know how much you looked into this deal, but with essentially NHL TV won't matter as much anymore. It's going to be you need to have an ESPN Plus subscription. And that way you're going to have over 1,000 hockey games or something like that on that they're going to provide all the out of network games. So essentially NHL TV would no longer need to be used anymore.
I'm also just happy that they're bringing back the music.
Oh, that's the best part.
That's the best part.
That's the best part. It's so iconic in the hockey world. It's just like the NFL music on Fox. It's especially the old promo videos with the robots.
The NFL Today on CBS. Before the previous iteration with Brent Mercer. I don't know, Alex, how old you are, but I don't know if you're old enough to remember the old NFL Today on CBS with Brent Merceberger and all those cast of characters. Yeah,
it's one of those things. It is iconic for that sport, and especially if you've been following the NHL for a long time, as I have. Obviously, I've been a Blue Jackets fan for 20 years, but I was a Red Wings fan before that because it was the next closest team, and Chicago is like, no way, I don't want to deal with them. But it's one of those things. I'm very excited for this to get started with the NHL. I'm super happy.
Yeah, I'm looking at the press release from ESPN that was released on that day, and it says that there will be more than streaming is a key element to the agreement. Exclusive games on ESPN Plus and Hulu, because I think ESPN Plus moving over to Hulu is going to benefit both sides. I mean, plus Hulu is partially owned by 20th Century Fox, which is a Disney company.
Yeah.
But you'll have over 1,000 games to all ESPN subscribers. I'm already an ESPN Plus subscriber, so this is very exciting. Deal also includes digital highlight and international rights. So I'm kind of curious to see what that is all about.
That might be some of the stuff, like, for example, we had the international series that they were going to do. Maybe it was something poised along with that to where
the World Cup of hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe they'll get. It might just be one of the things to where they're kind of getting a CYA. So it's, hey, this is going to be ours when we do have the World Cup, or we do have this international series where these two teams, like the Blue Jackets, were supposed to play in Finland at the beginning of the season, but due to COVID, all that stuff got canceled or postponed or something.
Yeah, the World Cup was supposed to go on this year, but unfortunately, because there's part of it, there was the pandemic, and part of it was just that the NHL couldn't come to an agreement with the NHLPA about that. So
yeah,
but this was back in 2019. So hopefully we'll see it again. I mean, the NHL just made peace with the IOC too, so they'll have the NHL players in the Olympics next year too. I know NBC is the exclusive Olympics carrier for the United States for, I think, till the end of time, basically.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
The only real international hockey outside of the IIHF World Championships is going to be on NBC Sports, but but I kind of wonder about that. Is it if the international agreement also includes the World Championships?
Maybe.
I hope so.
I wish I could get a full release of the contract and read it, just so I kind of have a little bit more detail on it.
That would be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, I suspect.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens with this. I think getting ESPN and then essentially Disney to do that, I think they could get a lot more reach. And then I think that would be nice to be able to get that reach, grow the sport. And then you could sit there and, for example, like I talked about earlier, you can help grow the NWHL. They only have 6 teams. Zach and I actually talked about this on our recording last night, that it would be nice to get that. And then there could be another ESPN channel or something that carries the NWHL. And then they could grow from 6 teams to 20, 30, get 32, just like the NHL is going to have, and then have a lot of teams in either some of the same cities or move them to different cities It's relatively close, so other people have markets to go to also.
Well, I just had a flash. I just had a flash idea pop in my head. You know what this also, with this new partnership between the NHL and Disney, you know what this means? What this could mean? The return of the Mighty Ducks animated series. I'm talking about Wild Wing Flashblade, Nosedive Flashblade, Duke Larange, Mallory McMallard, Tanya Vanderflock, Grin Hardwing.
Hey, that could also mean you could also see
so
a
much
team up. You could possibly see a team up with the Mighty Ducks and Iron Man. That could possibly happen.
That's true. And I know the Mighty Ducks, was it going to be a series or another movie coming out on Disney Plus pretty soon?
Yeah, I think it's another series. I'm all for that.
Cool. Yeah. And I saw the preview for it, and I'm like, hey, there's Riley from Letterkenny and Lauren Graham, swoon, and Emilio Estevez.
I'm super happy about that.
All right. So we're going to transition over to another big deal that happened this week between the Canadian Football League and the XFL. Now, on Wednesday, I actually wrote about this on bellyupsports.com, an article released on Friday. Please check it out, bellyupsports.com. I had some questions about the partnership itself. It's kind of vague right now as to what they're going to do from what I'm reading, but I'm feeling good about this partnership because, hopefully there's a season this year in the CFL. I missed it a lot last year. I know a couple of guys who play in the Arena League who are going to go up there and try to break out in the CFL with Montreal. And the fact that the XFL is not going to come back next year, but it's going to come back in 2023. The fact that somebody's investing in these leagues is going to be a good thing. And there's a lot of the thing is also one thing is I'm seeing is a lot of panic amongst especially CFL fans because they think it means it's going to be transition over to 4-down football, smaller field, American style rules. I don't know. That's just I have some feelings about that. But Alex, I'm not. I know you're a big hockey fan, but I don't know if you follow the XFL or football or anything like that. What are your thoughts about this?
I think it could be a very good partnership if they end up moving forward with it. I think one of the biggest things, especially, you want to grow both of the leagues and get some additional outlets outside of the NFL. That would be good. And especially if you're working with the XFL, essentially you're holding on to the coattails of Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You have that massive face that's known around the world, and he just bought the XFL last year.
Yep. He and his ex-wife, which is hysterical. Which is kind of, some people might call it hysterical, but I mean, some people when they get divorced, they still remain friends. It's kind of weird, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was kind of funny to see that. I'm like, okay, well, hey, we don't want to be married, but what?
She's also his agent, I guess, or his manager.
Yeah, that's got to be awkward.
That's gonna be funny.
But yeah, no, I really think that could be good for both leagues. Especially you have the XFL that's again like they're following in the trail of Dwayne Johnson and former owner Vince McMahon. But it's one of those things that I think both leagues could really benefit from this if they can build that up, get the CFL back, because I do enjoy watching those games. And then you could get them back, and that could be an alternating season. So you have the CFL and the XFL, and you could sit there and be alternating those. So essentially, they would almost be like hockey and baseball. You have sports going year round. So you're going to sit there and constantly draw a crowd and draw revenue and things like that. So I think that could be very good for both teams in the long run.
Yeah. I'll just give a brief outline about what I wrote in the column of the article that I wrote. I asked some questions like, first of all, is this a merger? Maybe. It's a fascinating partnership for sure, even though the details are still kind of vague and they're still kind of it's a slow drip instead of a big flood about what's going to happen. Personally, I believe that the CFL gets that cash influx they need to start the 2021 season, because if they didn't have a season this year, this league was effectively dead.
Yeah,
this league was dead, which is sad because I liked. I mean, I'm wearing a Baltimore Stallions 1995 Grey Cup champion shirt right now. That's how much I love the CFL, and I went to a couple of games in Montreal when I was back in my younger days, and hopefully wanted to go back and take some photos when when the league started up again last year, but unfortunately, it was not to be because the borders are closed. I think a lot of it has to do with marketing, especially for the CFL side, because I wrote in the article that the CFL doesn't. I don't know if they do a whole lot of marketing, or if they use a lot of individual players to market their brand. It seems like they do. From what I've seen, I haven't seen it a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot of good players who play in the league and they don't get any sort of attention because it's all about the teams. I mean, it's very Canadian in the fact that it's kind of like hockey. Don't rock the boat. One all for one and one for all. They don't really market their players very well. And for the XFL, it kind of acts like a talent. I guess you say a talent stream from the XFL up to the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I could see this going. I don't think the CFL will change its rules a whole lot. I know, like I said before, there's a whole lot of worry about them moving to American style rules. The CFL. I don't know if you've ever watched any CFL games, Alex.
Yep.
You know
handful.
Okay. So you know how unique their rules are with the big field and unlimited motion and the rouge, the single point.
Yeah, I do think if that all moves forward, there definitely would need to be a distinguishing line of the rule sets and things like that, especially if they do move forward with it. The XFL being essentially the minor leagues for the CFL. Mm-hmm. There definitely needs to be that line that's drawn of, okay, well, if you're going to be in the XFL, we're not going to play by American rules, and then you're going to go up to CFL, and that's just a completely different set of rules. No, I mean, It would need to be consistent throughout whatever upward stream that they have going for the talent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of rules that I think that the CFL would benefit from in terms of player safety, like the kickoff rule the XFL has. You have both teams lined 35 yards apart. The kicker's got to kick it between the 20-yard line and the goal line, and it was safe. From what I watched, it was a lot safer. The kickoff was a lot safer than you have right now currently when you have your gunners and they're just basically doing kamikaze missions down the field, and it causes a lot more injury. I mean, what was that one? Remember that one guy? Was it Eric Legrand from Rutgers? That guy almost died. I believe it was a kickoff return.
Yeah, I think I remember watching that game. I don't remember who they were playing, but I specifically remember watching that game, and then I've seen stuff along the same lines too. My dad went to Ball State, and we were actually we were in Indiana watching a Ball State game, and one of the wide receivers got hit on a kickoff, and then it essentially paralyzed him, and they thought he was going to be paralyzed from the neck down. Well, a year later, I mean, he's walking. He's never going to play football again, but luckily he's walking and healthy and things like that. But that kind of stuff is scary, seeing what can happen to these people. And it's, you definitely need to take safety precautions to try and prevent that.
Yeah, I think the XFL did a really outstanding job. Excuse me, XFL 2.0 did a really great job. I want to distinguish that. I want to make that delineation there between the first iteration of the XFL back in 2001, which could have worked had it not been completely awful football, and 2.0, which was a lot better, which is a better product for sure. The last thing I mentioned, and again, if you want to check out the article, go to bellyupsports.com. It's right there in the front. And there's the partnership affecting television. I know the XFL, as far as I know, they still have that deal with ESPN and Fox Sports. CFL only has one network broadcasting them. But I think if you have the XFL in the spring and you see some of that talent that comes out, elite talent that comes out the XFL and they sign with a CFL team, you're going to bring a lot more eyes to the CFL because that your favorite player is now playing for the Calgary Stampeders or the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Your players then they're playing there. It's like, oh, when's Hamilton playing? When's Calgary playing? When's Montreal playing? When's Ottawa playing? Like you're bringing more eyes, American eyes, to your product.
Oh, absolutely.
That could absolutely be beneficial. And if you're a football fan like me, if you need your fix during the spring and summertime, XFL, CFL, that's going to be it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way with hockey. Once the NHL's done, I like watching the KHL.
Yo,
And
same.
I love watching some of the other French leagues and Finnish league. I mean, granted, the games are on at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, but
hey, hockey with breakfast.
it's not fine. Yeah. And it's
bacon, eggs, and hockey.
Yeah. It's nice for me. Like, I like trying to follow the prospects and stuff too, and watching them, in games here and there and stuff like that. So I like watching those leagues, and it would be the same with football. You watch the NFL. All right, cool. Well, now that's over. What do you do? Okay, well, now you have the CFL and XFL to watch. All right, well, those are cool. I just got into those, and the championships are done. Man, that stinks. What now? Hey, the NFL is back. All right, let's do this all over again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really cool, and that would grow a lot of attention to them. Especially, I know a lot of hardcore football fans that feel like they don't have anything to do in the spring and the summer.
Yep.
Now you would.
Now you do.
Yeah.
Now you do, because the XFL started a week after the Super Bowl last time the 2.0 came around.
I believe so. Yes.
Yep. So you got football. You got your end of winter / spring football fix. You got your football fix in the summer, with the CFL going into November, and it correlates with college football and the NFL. And there's one thing I forgot that in the article that I forgot to mention: the sports gambling prospects too, because I know with XFL you had now that it's legal in the United States, basically state by state. I remember the XFL is at ESPN, Fox Sports. They would have these lines coming in during the game. So for the preset line, and then as the game went on, the line either increased or decreased depending on who scored or who didn't score. So, I mean, could you probably see that something like that happen in the CFL?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that could change the betting game pretty significantly too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge for both leagues. I think I'm hoping the CFL comes back this year. I'm very excited that there's talks of a season. I know from what I listened to yesterday on certain shows or podcasts that I listen to or watch. I guess the drop dead date is May 1st for whether or not a season will happen. So, and the thing is, with this deal with the XFL, it caught a lot of the Canadian players, guys playing in Canada right now, the CFLPA, it caught them a little bit off guard. So that remains to be seen about that. But hopefully they can come to some sort of consensus or agreement, get a season going. Let's watch some CFL.
Yeah, I'm excited. It would be something that I would pay a lot more attention to this year. I think after the last year, something I've really gotten more into other sports other than just hockey and baseball. So it's one of those things. I got really big into racing and things like that. So, it'll be nice to be able to see something other than the NFL, because I'm not a huge NFL guy much anymore. But
if I'm a New York Jets fan, and sadly, so I've had about a good decade, or actually I'd say 43 years of suffering as long as I've been on the planet. But I'm hoping someday they'll turn things around. I'll be fully invested in the NFL again. Like, I barely paid attention to my fantasy football team this past year. Yeah, that's how much I was into the NFL.
Well, as a Patriots fan, I'm sorry for the last 20 years.
And that's the end of our show. Good night. No, but I think it's going to be good things. I mean, hopefully it won't mean the end of the CFL and the XFL being good things. Both leagues will benefit. Yeah, I'm hoping.
Absolutely. So. I thoroughly do think they will. And hopefully it'll be nice once both leagues are back, once the XFL comes back in a couple years and the CFL is going strong, all of the pandemic restrictions are gone and things like that. I think it could be huge for them.
And the best thing about it is that, especially if you're a football player, this gives you more opportunities.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots of opportunities to succeed, whether you're in the XFL or if you go to the XFL, you succeed there, go to the higher level. I think the CFL is a little bit higher. It's definitely a higher level than the XFL, but it's better than having to play in Europe every spring or having to play in an arena in the middle of nowhere in an indoor league that doesn't give you a whole lot of you're basically paying peanuts and going for long bus rides. So it's a lot. The opportunities are bigger. I'm hoping, I'm praying and hoping for the best. Fingers crossed. Say a prayer, hoping for the best. Preparing for the worst, but hopefully this thing works out.
I hope so. Like we both said, it could be huge for a lot of people, especially the players and things like that. There's a lot of extra opportunities, a lot of doors being open. So I think that could be a very optimistic thing for them.
Yep. All right. So we're going to wrap things up in just a few moments, folks. But before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to one of our partners at Belly Up. That's Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good quality coffee with no BS and no filter, Invader Coffee is an ultra premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim only to serve the highest quality organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple, the best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you the value you deserve from your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, get 15% off your order. I'm currently enjoying on a daily basis what's it called? Dang it. Not to go to the website and figure it out. There we go. So I had the Bad Santa. The Bad Santa is excellent, by the way. They still have some of that available. I had their whiskey blend, which was pretty good. The chocolate blend's pretty good too. Blackwater Contractor blend. That's the one I'm drinking right now. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. So if you're into coffee, Alex, go yourself. We have that partnership with Invader Coffee. So it takes a couple of days for it delivered, but I enjoy it.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, man. All right. So, Alex, before we wrap things up, I'm going to give you the floor to promote your stuff. So, obviously, your Twitter handle's right there, @Nuttle @Nuttles_CBJ. Tell the folks about your podcast.
I am one of the co-hosts for the Cannons and Tomahawks podcast. You can find us on Twitter @CannonHawksPod. We talk all things hockey all the time. My co-host, Zach Martin, also is a big Blackhawks fan, which is questionable, but it's fine. And then you can also check out my other podcast. If you happen to be a Blue Jackets fan and like post-game recaps, you can check out my other one. It's called CBJ After the Blast. And you can find that @CBJ Blast. You see us tweeting all the time. We're always active on Twitter. Hit us up and we will get you guys going. Right here, first announcement of it. We are actually going to do a live stream for the championship game of the NWHL in 2 weeks from today.
Nice.
We will be announcing details of that later with the timing of it and things like that. But Zach and I are planning on doing a live stream for that, and we're going to have a bunch of people on it. So you're welcome to join. Absolutely.
I'll definitely be there. And don't forget, too, we also have our Belly Up Fantasy live show every 2 weeks. We're going to have one on Monday for the hockey side. So if you're out there and you're looking for some fantasy tips in regards to hockey, or you just want to shoot the bull in regards to the NHL these days, come watch us, 9 p.m. Belly Up Sports Fantasy. All right, folks. So that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Around for the Weekend. For Alex, I'm Ryan. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there. Have a beer, relax, enjoy some sports for this weekend. Take care, everyone.
Peace.